Hey Aquarius, welcome to your reading. So during the pre-shuffle, I only got one word. It was professional. Uh, I felt a real ease and sense of comfort and knowledge, skill. So you might be depending, or other people might depend on you for your skill. I'm not sure what kind of professional you may be, but if that's not the case, you may be seeking a professional for some specific purpose. All right, so let's see. Wow, a lot of major arcana coming out here. Okay, interesting. Okay, so first card we have, this is my Five of Ignis, Five of Wands. So an altercation of some kind. Last card being here the matriarch of air in reverse, the Queen of Swords in reverse. This card showed up actually in the last reading for Capricorn. Different position, but if you have Capricorn in your chart somewhere, or if this turns out to relate, check out that video. But we're starting off strong here. Definitely some intense energy here, and I think you're coming out on top here, whatever this fight is about. Though the thing is I'm not feeling like you're declaring yourself the victor here. I think this is kind of a consensus that's appearing here. So I'm seeing quite a few people arguing. They're all kind of talking about, no, it should be this, no, it should be that, no, uh, this is the right decision, and everyone's discussing and arguing here. A few people are getting a little out of hand, but I think overall the goal is is one that's good. I think there might be one person that's kind of taking things a little weird, and I think the group is kind of agreeing with your stance. If you're the consensus, if not here, with this sun in the center, you may also not be. So I'm really getting a torn feeling here. You want to, you know what the right thing is, but you don't feel like it's also the right decision. Like there's a lot to go over here. There's no perfect answer, essentially, is what I'm getting. Um, and the most realistic answer is one that will inflict sadness here. But this is for the benefit of others. This isn't for an individual. And I think you know this. I think you're aware of this. Here we only have one unbalanced line for the most part. Though in this line, I'm being reassured here that you know what this entails. You're aware of the sacrifice required in order to make this happen. Whatever this intention is, whatever this decision entails, it's going to piss someone off. In a perfect world, sure, you could satisfy everyone, but that's not the case here. Um, this card, though, is my card 0. It is not the Fool. This is my interpretation of the world, reworked as what I call the cosmic entity, uh, kind of modeled after Carl Jung's Cosmic Man, in which you have a greater force sacrificing itself for the greater good, giving itself, being in the position to where you know there's no purpose to influence or enforce a sense of power, but to encourage and to give selflessly. This is a card about selfless, but also being at the position where you can be there already, right? It's like, let's not forget where everyone is already, and whoever this is involving, I'm getting everyone is kind of in the same position. There's not one person that, you know, that's up to interpretation. Though what I'm getting is that everyone's kind of on an equal footing. Here, you're a part of a representation of more than yourself, and that's what you're keeping in mind here. Um, but you need to also, like, I'm getting politics, almost like something like that, or like a union representative, some kind of representative where you represent the benefit or the interests of others. This could be as simple as representing your family in like a neighborhood discussion, something like that, or even at work, health and safety, you know. But the grounds for which you have to stand on, sure, it might be shaky, and you've kind of argued your point, and I don't think there's any more that you can say, except for what you hope to achieve. And I think what you have to also understand, I feel, in this layout is that other people are also sacrificing here and giving things up. Um, you are as well, and you know that, but also other people are. And maybe this person who is adamantly against this needs to understand that, um, because this is a really, really, really selfless thing. And here it's like, sure, it might appear like other people are benefiting from this on the surface, and maybe that's their argument, is that, well, they're benefiting, though what about us? And they're failing to recognize the entirety of the context, I think. um, and they're quite upset about this, right? They can't detach themselves from the reality and the objective truth in this situation, and that's what's holding them back from moving forward with this. I'm getting they're fighting tooth and nail, um, but someone is gonna be affected. Everyone's affected, but this person just might be a little bit more vocal. Uh, Perhaps they're a little bit more selfish, and they want what they want, and they don't want to let it go. They don't want to disappoint others, which I understand, but that's in a perfect situation here. This is not a perfect situation. Maybe this is your calling, right? This is your professional stance. That you're staking a lot on this. It's not a passing decision, and it's not one that you make or decide on lightly. Um, and it might actually seem, what I'm getting is counterintuitive to a lot of people. There's quite a few people who just don't grasp uh, the entirety of the context, at least what you're representing here. So what I have here is the feminine scholar of Aqua. So she's in reverse here, and this is telling me that it's very unintuitive. So this card is supposed to represent a uh, skilled diviner, an actual tarot reader, someone who prides themselves in the mysteries, right? So it's very intuitive, a card of knowing, great knowing, and intuition. Um, there's definitely a flow to this that's kind of unseen, and that's a great skill to have, to recognize that flow. And other people don't see that, right? It's veiled still for them. So it appears counterintuitive, like almost as if it came out of left field, like you came out of left field with this, and like you don't know what you're talking about, and who are you to say you don't know what you don't know anything, blah blah blahs. I'm getting all this chitter chatter back and forth, like over and over and over and over again, and it seems like it's almost endless. It's like, why won't this stop? Please just stop. And there's frustration here for sure. I'm getting on your side, which I totally get. Um, it's just kind of relentless, almost. Um, you wish you could just, plug your ears without showing that you're plugging your ears, if you know what I mean. Uh, and I think you know this for the most part. Though let's get some advice here. Um, so for this changing line, this first line, we have, okay, so yang, yin, yang. So right now this is the trigram of fire. Um, so quite active, very active, and a little influential. Nobody really wants to get close to this situation, but at the same time, it's necessary. It's like you can't avoid it. Um, Four of Wands. Okay, so immediately what I'm getting is, look at what you've achieved already so far, what this group as a whole has achieved already so far, and where it's come. You know, Maybe you feel a little demoralized because of this. There's infighting going on. You might have friends fighting against each other. People who love each other just tearing at the bit to kind of, quote unquote, display their true colors, is what I'm getting. But everyone's affected by this, right? Everyone. There's no one who can say that they're totally kind of objective in this scenario. Um, and maybe that's it. Maybe a third perspective might help. Because when you look back at what has been achieved, I think there has been success, with this effort, this group effort here. Um, though it's easy to just focus on the the yapping, the yammering, the stuff that's annoying, right? Because it's right in your face, and you can't just turn it off. So it's I know it's easier said than done, but that's what I'm picturing, right? It's the attempt to just, not the attempt, the temptation to just brush something off. Brush someone's perspective away, what they think. Though if you look, everyone has contributed, and that's important to keep in mind here, because at the very foundation is that, right? It's this group dynamic that has all achieved that. Though when you bring it out a little bit further in this context, it's easy to become divisive and point fingers. You know, just come up with theories, conspiracy theories. Oh, it's this person against this person. This person's pulling the strings, yada yada. But and that's why it kind of appears unintuitive at the same time, which is difficult. That's a part of the challenge I'm grasping, is the communication, the ability to communicate the situation in a tactful manner, or in a way that makes sense to everyone here. Um, because I feel like this is pretty important. Um, this deserves everyone's understanding. I think everyone would benefit from understanding this decision and your perspective on this. You can't just make the decision and pretend like everyone will eventually understand, right? Not if, this is a continuous, like if you work in this kind of field, right? It might benefit other people to understand the grounds from which you stand, right? Uh, and to kind of move from there so that they can consider your position and their position in the same sense, the same context, and continue to produce good results, right? You don't want this to stand or to create more issues than it should, and that's kind of the fear I'm getting as well. It's like someone can't let go, and you're kind of grappling with that. But if this is just one individual, then maybe everyone has to also conclude on the scenario and work together to help this person understand, especially if they're integral, like super important in this process. If they're not, maybe they need some space and they need to move on from this in their own way. But just don't forget what they've contributed to, I think, is your main goal here. So you don't end up brushing them to the side, sweeping them under the rug like it's unimportant, because it is. All right. So that's what I have in terms of the overall general message, Aquarius. Now, this is where I'll talk about the overall trigram. So if you are familiar with the I Ching is another divination system where you can ask for help and get more perspective on a scenario, situation, relationship, what have you. So that involves 6 lines. And so those 6 lines are comprised of 2 what are called trigrams, if you don't know what those are. So I'll show you what this is the lower trigram is, so you can continue from this point and make it more personal. So first line is yang, unbalanced yang. And we have yin, and then we have yang. So I kind of mentioned it before, but this is the trigram of fire, and this is what it looks like. And so the first line is changing in this scenario, and that would be this line here, this solid line. That's changing to a yin line. Now you can cast again 3 more lines, which would appear above this lower trigram, give you an overall hexagram, and that would give you more information too. Look for the changing line advice, and then you can take it from there. That's up to you though. So that's information on the trigram. Now at this point, I will show you what I call the divined cards. So I generate cards based on keywords. So that's 4 cards. I'll tell you what 3 of them are. If those 3 don't stand out, then the 4th one is available for you. So I'll let you know what those keywords are. So we have doc as the first one, populist as the second, saint as the third, and then the secret is the 4th. So pause the video now. You can check the video description for timestamps there. So in a second, I'll show what those are. So pause the video. All right, so here they are. First card, doc. Second, populist. Third, saint. And the final secret card is Thunderbolt. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Aquarius. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you liked the cards and would like a copy, I have a Ko-Fi or a Coffee channel. Link is in the description if you'd like to check that out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.